Game 4 of 4 here at UCCU Ballpark. It's the number 4 Westfield Longhorns facing the number 21, the plucky underdog Skyline Eagles. And if you're asking yourself, when is the last time a team ranked in the 20s came on to reach bracket play? Well, you'd have to go all the way back to 2025. When the Spanish Fork Dons stormed through the 5A bracket as a number 20 seed, winning the 5A state championship. So Skyline by no means out of their depth right here. They're taking on the highly ranked Westfield Longhorns. Leading off is going to be shortstop Steven Pedroza facing starting right-handed pitcher Bryce Bagby. Pedroza takes ball 1. Let's give you the batting lineup for the Skyline Eagles. Batting second will be the catcher Peyton Papadakis, and the 3-hole, the third baseman Cole Muse hitting .457. The starting pitcher Andrew Johnson is batting cleanup, batting .312. Abe Wilson is a designated hitter today, batting 5th. In the 6th spot will be first baseman Hayes Marshall. Zayden Butcher playing left field and batting 7th. Hitting 8th is center fielder Mason Papadakis. And in the 9-hole is second baseman Carson Atkinson as Bryce Bagby delivers a strike right there against Steven Pedroza, hitting .341 this season. Skyline came out of nowhere. They just squeaked into the playoffs. With a couple of late season wins, they finished 5th in Region 6, and then they jump in the regional round. They sweep number 12 Taylorsville before taking on number 5 Cypress, and the Pirates went down in 2 straight games as well. So Skyline, they came into the postseason with a 9-16 record, and they've won 4 in a row to reach bracket play here against Westfield, and they draw a leadoff walk from Steven Pedroza, bringing Peyton Papadakis to the plate. So momentum, sometimes that can be the entire story in baseball, and Skyline's got it.
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned their record. You hear all these things, but they've got hot. They've got confidence. They're rolling, and this is what happens. You can come into bracket play in a very low seed and punch a big hole and really upset some teams. And so I'm excited what Skyline's going to be able to do here in bracket play and see if they can't, get some wins here. Coach Morgan does a great job with Skyline. He's been there for a while. Teaches a great style of baseball, and you can tell it's paying off. Here's they're taking on Westfield.
There's the 0-1 pitch, lifted out to right field, going back on it. Underneath it, and he'll make the catch. That's Andrew Hurst. Give you the defensive alignment for Westfield, left to right in the outfield. It's Luke Penland, Brady Penland in center, and Andrew Hurst in right. Wyatt Penrod at third. Cason Taylor at short, Marshall Moon at second base, and Tyke Johnson at first. A bunch of great names on this team with Grady Garrett behind the dish. And that's just a baseball name lineup. Peyton Papadakis, the catcher, hitting .318. Takes ball 1. Got Bryce Bagby, the right-hander, taking his time early in this one. Swinging at that one is Peyton Papadakis. It's get past a diving outfielder. That should score a run as the ball rolls all the way to the wall. Papadakis on his horse dives with a head-first slide into third base. So an RBI triple for Peyton Papadakis and the Skyline Eagles on the scoreboard first.
Yeah, great piece of hitting there. I totally understand left fielder trying to go and make a big-time play there. Even if that ball drops, I still don't know if he gets that runner out at home. But, try to go make a good play, gets by him. Skyline's on the board early.
Yeah, that's a tough one as a left fielder. Luke Penland, you're coming in on that ball, trying to make the play. And obviously, it's early in this game. You're still trying to find your footing. Everybody just to actually get involved in this one, and that's just, that one goes against Skyline. With the sun starting to come out, setting just over the first base line on the stands here. You wonder if the sun made any impact on that play as Luke Penland tries to track it down. Popped high in the left center field. Penland gets to it, makes the catch. The runner tags from third, so Papadakis will score. going to be a sac fly from Cole Muse. And Skyline grabs an early 2-0 advantage. Well, Mike, we've seen 3 games already today. The first team to score has won all 3. So number 21, Skyline, already putting themselves in quite a position.
Yeah, it's good to see coming out swinging. First AB walk is a tough one. We've seen it in statistics. We've heard about it for years and years and years. You walk that leadoff hitter, the chances of that run scoring are very high. And Skyline hits the board with 2 runs in the first inning here so far.
Squares around, tries to put the bunt down, and it rolls foul.
Ball spinning just right to when it hit that turf, just starts pulled it back into foul territory. Looked like it might stay fair for a minute, but a little too much English on it.
This is Abe Wilson hitting .352 this season. If Wilson can reach, it'll allow Hayes Marshall to hit. Here's the 1-1. Squares around once again and not able to make contact, 1-2. Wilson with 2 down here in the inning, obviously trying to bunt for a base hit. Now with 2 strikes, no longer looking to bunt, takes ball 2. Bagby comes set, and the pitch. Appeal down to first, strike 3. So that'll retire Abe Wilson. Skyline scores 2 in the top of the first inning, and Westfield falls behind, the number 4 seed trailing the number 21 seed. So a surprising start to this one. We're going to go ahead and keep it here. We'll give you the lineup for the Westfield Longhorns. Leading off, facing the starting pitcher, it's Andrew Johnson, will be Wyatt Penrod playing third base. Penrod is hitting .541 this season. He's followed by the catcher, Grady Garrett, hitting .456. Sam Smith, the designated hitter, also hitting .456. In the cleanup hole, the center fielder, Brady Penland, hitting .417. In the 5 hole, hitting .442 is the second baseman, Marshall Moon. And in the 6th spot, hitting .424 is Tyke Johnson. We continue down the order. This incredibly deep Westfield lineup. Hitting 7th was Kason Taylor, hitting .500 this year with 24 runs driven in. Andrew Hurst hitting 8th and playing right field, and Luke Penland rounding out the 9-hole lineup, playing left field and hitting .397. So this is obviously a Westfield Longhorns team that puts a lot of stock in their offense. They're very aggressive. They get on base. They like to put the pieces in motion. A lot of stolen bases as we look through this lineup. So we'll see how Westfield responds after falling behind 2-0 against Skyline. But the Eagles have all the momentum right now.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you're Westfield and you're down 2-0 against Skyline, with the averages and the stats we were just looking at, I don't know if Westfield's thinking that they're in trouble at all. This is a team that can hit. This is a team that scores runs. This is a team that's, based on just numbers alone, not having been able to watch them very much, this is a team is planning on hitting a lot of balls hard and getting a lot of hits.
Yeah, I mean, just going back and taking a look at Westfield's most recent 6 games. Let's go 7 games. A 13-6 win, a 13-3 win, a 16-0 win, 15-5, 24-2, 8-3, and 11-3. So once in their last 7 games have the Longhorns been held to single digits, and that was an 8-run ball game.
Yeah, so you're probably in for it a little bit, that you're going to have to score some runs if you're Skyline. So now with that 2-run lead going into the bottom of the first, you feel a little bit better about it. Now you just got to go out and play some clean D.
Wyatt Penrod looks at strike 2 leading off for the Longhorns. The 2-2 pitch misses outside from Andrew Johnson.
And I don't think it can be stated enough, the value of going out after your team has scored runs and putting up a zero. It is extremely valuable. A lot of people would say that's like the biggest dust statement you've ever heard. Yeah, well, if you don't allow them to score and you score, you're obviously going to probably win a lot of games. But it's a momentum thing where if you go put runs out and then immediately don't allow them to score, it just kind of creates more of an uphill battle for that team to come back and get runs on the board against you.
You get momentum out of that. It allows your pitcher to build confidence, knowing that his offense has his back, and he comes out and executes a pitch. So we've got a disagreement here at home plate. Skyline head coach Mike Hay is coming out, having a word with the umpire. Not happy with what he's hearing. And now the home plate umpire gestures to Westfield. And I don't know what the conversation is right here. You see Westfield in the home third base dugout. We were talking about it. There's some desks out in foul territory for the coaches, but I don't believe that was the conversation as the ball popped up on the infield. Catch is made by the shortstop, Steven Pedroza. Give you the lineup defensively for Skyline right now. Left to right in the outfield, Zayden Butcher in left field, Mason Papadakis in center field, Wyatt Crowell in right, Cole Muse at third, Steven Pedroza at short, Carson Atkinson at second, and Hayes Marshall at first. Peyton Papadakis behind the plate, catching Andrew Johnson. Here's Grady Garrett. Garrett, the left-handed hitting catcher, comes in hitting a robust .456 with 7 doubles, 7 triples, 4 home runs, and 38 runs driven in. I could go all day with these kinds of numbers.
Those are just easy numbers to say. I mean, they're big.
Yeah.
You look at any of those and your eyes light up, and if you're an offensive type guy.
For high school players, these are just popping off the page. Bouncer down the first baseline, just rolls foul. So Grady Garrett will do it again. Behind 1-2 against Andrew Johnson. Andrew Johnson, 5-2 this season. He starts the day with a 3.32 ERA. He struck out 63 batters against 30 walks. So when he's commanding the strike zone, he's been very effective, nearly dominant, has Andrew Johnson. But with those 30 walks, you can know there's a little bit of command problems. Maybe he loses the zone from time to time. Misses outside right there, even in the count 2-2.
Yeah, I think the key for him and Skyline at this point is you've got to pitch aggressive. You got to challenge these hitters. Yes, we know they're going to hit. Yes, they score runs, but they're more likely to do that when you fall behind in counts.
Popped up and play made behind the plate. Peyton Papadakis makes the catch to retire Grady Garrett. So 2 up, 2 down for Westfield brings Sam Smith to the plate. And after this start from Westfield, it begs the question, was Westfield quite ready to get this game started? We've talked about it all day, this being the first day of the state tournament. These teams come down here to UVU. Maybe they haven't played on this field. Maybe just being in the state tournament, you get a little bit of the butterflies, and you get off to a slow start. There's strike 2.
Yeah, I mean, definitely could see that. I mean, the approach of the plate here is a little bit more of a patient approach than we've seen some of the other teams today.
That pitch nearly hit Sam Smith. Not really sure why it didn't hit Sam Smith. It counts now 1-2 with 2 down here in the bottom of the first inning. Skyline leads Westfield 2-0. Misses high, runs the count full. Throw from Papadakis gets away briefly. Pedroza tracks it down. Popped up high on the infield. Shortstop coming in. Not sure who's going to call it. Oh, a lot of miscommunication right there. Nobody wanting to take charge. Eventually, it's the third baseman, Cole Muse, makes the catch about 18 inches off of the turf. But Skyline off to a fast start. The Eagles lead Westfield 2-0. You're watching high school baseball on KSLSports.com. To unlock your full athletic potential. At Athletic Potential, we specialize in helping baseball and softball athletes conquer pain, recover faster, and achieve peak performance. Whether you're a professional, collegiate, competitive, or recreational athlete, our tailored approach ensures you are stronger, faster, and more resilient. From personalized physical therapy to sport-specific performance training, we guide you every step of the way. Plus, with remote coaching options, expert support is always within reach. Don't let injuries hold you back. Visit athletic-potential.com to schedule your consultation today and take the first steps towards your best performance yet. Leading off the top of the second inning for Skyline, it's the first baseman, 6-hole hitter Hayes Marshall. Marshall takes strike one from Bryce Bagby.
Yeah, going back to that play that ended the last half inning, that shortstop lost that ball. You could tell he immediately called it, knowing that it was probably his ball, and then he looks up and he loses it. He just can't see it, and that's why he ended up looking at his third baseman, second baseman briefly, and lucky enough, third baseman's an athlete enough to run across the field and catch it just before it hits the turf.
Ground ball to second base. Up with it is Moon. Marshall is retired. 1 up, 1 down. 4-3 if you're scoring at home brings Zayden Butcher to the plate. And as a defender, that's got to be a helpless feeling when you know that ball's coming to you and you can't see it at all.
Yeah, especially, you get a good beat on it in the beginning. It's one of those things where this thing's called high skies, where the ball's hit high enough, you'll lose it after a second. And it's one of those moments as an outfielder, you're on an island. There's just no way somebody's going to get it. An infielder, you got to communicate that. You got to say, hey, I can't see. And you yell those things so that your infielders can come in and help you. And the lucky part is that's exactly what Skyline was doing. They communicated well, and the third baseman segment backed off. Luckily enough, they probably communicated even more and then found out they couldn't find it and were able to still make the play.
Butcher hitting .281, counts 1-1 right now. Starting left fielder, he's got 2 doubles and a triple this season. Zayden Butcher, spelled Xaidn. Hot shot to short. Cason Taylor up with it. Retires the runner. So back-to-back ground ball putouts for Bryce Bagby. Here's Mason Papadakis.
Another goal of Skyline, especially knowing you're coming in against such a good offensive team, at least on paper, is that you've got to cause some disturbance every inning. You've got to get a base runner on, get deep in counts, have good ABs, make it a bit of a struggle all the time for Westfield to have to get back into the dugout to get their bats going. And right now it's working for Westfield. You got 2 quick ground ball outs, getting ahead of hitters, and Skyline's just got to keep disturbing the momentum and the ability for Westfield to get into a rhythm here.
The more you can keep Westfield on their heels and force them to make decisions defensively, the more difficult you're going to make it for this Longhorns team. Counts 0-2, 2 down. Papadakis strikes out looking. So a good inning, good recovery, bounce back inning from Bryce Bagby. Retires the side in order. We go to the bottom half of the second inning. Westfield trails 3-0. You're watching high school baseball on KSLSports.com. On KSLSports.com, I'm Brian Priest. He's Mike Matthews. You're watching the number 4 Westfield Longhorns as they trail the number 21 Skyline Eagles 2-0. Swinging at the first pitch is Westfield. Bouncer back up the middle. So that's a leadoff single for Brady Penland. Gets Westfield started. That's the Longhorns' first base runner of the day.
Not a bad pitch there. Rolled completely over it. This is one of those that I think, again, if you're playing on turf or playing on grass and dirt, maybe your middle infielder's got a chance with that. On turf, that ball is just going to take off with that kind of top spin. It's going to make the outfield every time. And if you're Skyline here, you just want another one of those with your infielders playing up the middle now, and you probably get a double play out of it.
Marshall Moon, Westfield's second baseman, hitting .442. He's driven in 28. Take a look down at Brady Penland at first base. He's second in Westfield's team with 21 stolen bases. So a lot of speed down there. You can see Penland dancing around. 1-1 count. Would it be a surprise to see him go? Johnson checks the runner. Comes home. Misses. Now 2-1 against Marshall Moon. Westfield reached the 5A championship bracket play today by virtue of a romp over number 13 Olympus in the Super Regionals. Won 2 straight non-competitive games.
30 runs scored in 2 games.
Outscored Olympus 30-4. Here's the 2-2. Fouls it above his own dugout. We'll do it again. Yeah, that feels good, punching across 30 runs in 2 days. Quick whirl and throw to first.
Skyline's lost Olympus every time.
So strike 3 swinging. Marshall Moon is retired. 1 down here in the second inning. Brady Penland still at first base. Tyke Johnson comes to the plate now. He's hitting .424.
I think you start your runner here.
He's not going. Johnson takes ball 1. As you were just pointing out, Westfield beats Olympus 30-4 in 2 games. Taking a look at Skyline. They lost 3 straight to Olympus early this year, back in the last week of March. So that's a long time ago. They're a completely different team than they were there, but that just kind of gives you an idea of how these 2 teams stack up against each other on paper. So we get 2 outs here in the second inning. Kaysen Taylor at the plate. Sorry, still Tyke Johnson. Lined right back up the middle. Good piece of hitting from Tyke Johnson. Brady Penland makes the turn. He'll pull up safely at third base. So nice job at the plate. Tyke Johnson gets the job done with a 1-out single. Runners at the corners for the Longhorns. And Kaysen Taylor.
Well, if you're Skyline again, you know you're coming in. I've done the report that you're probably not going to shut these guys out. The key is on innings like this, you just can't let them get out of hand. So at this point, you need to get an out. If you let 1 run score, you're still okay. But you need to make sure you get an out in this batter right here.
Johnson fakes to third, turns and fakes to first. Both runners safe. Kaysen Taylor, the Westfield shortstop, hitting .500 this season.
Big lead at first.
With the speed of Penland at third base, wouldn't be surprised if you see Tyke Johnson moving here. Something we've already seen a couple of times where offenses will get the runner at first moving, hoping that they can steal home on the throw to second. And the pitch. That misses outside. Catcher was set up well outside on that one. I thought it caught the corner, but I wonder if just where the catcher was set up maybe fooled the umpire. Counts 1-0. 1 down here at the bottom of the second inning. Fisted into the seats. See, now that's the type of announcement that we need more of at ballparks. For fans returning a foul ball here at UCCU Ballpark, you take that over to the concession stand. What do you get? A certificate for a free Frosty?
Man.
Come on. That's awesome. I used to go to the softball fields when I was a kid, and if you brought in a home run ball or a foul ball, they'd give you a sucker.
Yeah, I got bubble gum.
Oh, you got bubble gum. Okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
same concept.
Frosty.
They're really training us kids to work for nothing, aren't they?
Or they just need the baseballs that bad.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fouled out of play. Back and forth battle between Kason Taylor and Andrew Johnson. 2-2 count. On the Westfield shortstop, he's hitting .500 this year. Runners at the corners. Brady Penland down at third. Tyke Johnson at first. Westfield trying to break through. They trailed 2-0. And the 2-2 misses outside. It gets away from the catcher. That pitch was way outside, but definitely something that should have been handled by Grady Garrett.
Yeah, that's a definite pass ball. Yeah, that pitch is about 1.5 to 2 feet into the batter's box on the right-hand side, but that's an easily catchable ball. These are things you just can't do in a state tournament. You can't give up free runs like this and just letting balls get to the backstop and let runners come home. It's a tough thing to do.
And we saw earlier today in Game 2 this afternoon, it was Pleasant Grove taking advantage of a couple of wild pitches and some bases on balls. And any time, especially you get late in the season, in the postseason, these championship tournaments, if you can take advantage of the mistakes made by your opponent, it just puts you in the catbird seat. So we've got a meeting on the mound here for Skyline. Big moment right now. What do you think this conversation is?
I think he saw something. As a coach, you're coming out usually trying to just make sure everybody's on the same page about what you're trying to get done right now in this moment, right? With a 3-2 count, runner at second, with one out, you're basically just deciding, okay, we're going to try to get this lead runner. You're trying to throw, what do we want to do here? But the other thing that sometimes happens, you see something as a coach, you want to make sure that your guys know what to do if something happens. And so that way it doesn't compound into a bigger problem.
The pitch, Taylor turns on it, hits it out to right field. It checks up. The runner tags from second base. Tyke Johnson advances to third on the sacrifice fly from Kason Taylor. So the tying run 90 feet away for Westfield and Andrew Hurst.
Skyline a little upset here, thinking that he got a little bit of too quick of a jump off that tag at second base. They appealed. Umpires found that he was safe. He left at appropriate time. Runner at third, 2 outs.
My guess would be Skyline probably saw he took 2 steps off the bag after tagging and then stopped before continuing. Swinging to the first pitch, roller to second base. It's bobbled. Everybody's going to be safe. That's an error on Carson Atkinson. The run scores. Westfield ties the ball game. So Andrew Hurst reaches on the E4. Tyke Johnson comes in to score. And here's Luke Penland.
Those are the plays we talked about earlier. We mentioned about making little plays. We talked about as a PFP play earlier in the game. I believe it was in the first game, about making these kind of seemingly easier looking plays, although they are quite difficult plays. And if you make those plays, then you get out of innings without giving up as many runs. And Skyline just unfortunately being able to pick up a ball here, just hit hard to the glove side of the second baseman, unable to read that hop off of the turf. It ate him up a little bit, cost him a run and cost him the lead.
That strike evens the count 1-1. Pitch finds the zone now 1-2. Sorry, 2-1. was a little bit low. There are some programs in the state that you can afford to give an extra out to in an inning here and there. Westfield is just not one of them. If you give them 4 outs, you give them 5 outs in an inning, you commit an error, you misplay a ball here and there, they're going to make you regret it.
Yeah, they just have too many guys in the lineup that can hurt you. And so if you keep giving them chances, that one of these guys is going to come through.
So Andrew Hurst down at first base. The 9-hole hitter Luke Penland hitting .397. Not your typical 9-hole hitter. Much more of a leadoff style type of guy. Good contact at the plate from the left-handed batter's box. Another check on the runner at first. Hurst has 3 stolen bases this year. This is a very aggressive Westfield team as Hurst takes off. And that's strike 3 swinging. So Luke Penland is retired on the strikeout. That'll end the bottom half of the second inning, but Westfield breaks through. They score a couple of runs. We're tied after 2 innings here at UCCU Ballpark in the 5A High School Baseball Championship bracket. Bank, home of the Tab Spend Rewards checking account with 2.75% annual percentage yield on all of your account balances and 1% cash back on eligible purchases. Tab responsibly. Visit tabbank.com to learn more. Member FDIC. Leading off here in the top of the 3rd inning for Skyline, it's the 9-hole hitter Carson Atkinson. Atkinson hitting .316. He'll face Bryce Bagby. Bagby's retired 6 in a row after walking the first 2 batters he faced today. Misses high for ball 1.
Well, we mentioned it earlier, how Skyline needed to come out and put up a 0 after they scored 2 runs. And they did, and Westfield's now battled back, put 2 runs of their own up. Now they need to come back out here and put up a 0.
Popped behind second base, going back, making the play. That's Marshall Moon. At the top of the Eagles lineup, it's Steven Pedroza, the shortstop. He walked, came around to score to open up this ball game. Ball 1 misses outside. Quickly 2-0 on the Skyline shortstop. Hitters count. We'll see if he could put a good swing on the ball. That one misses low. Now 3-0. I would expect Pedroza to be taking all the way here on 3-0.
Yeah, Skyline, you need base runners. Again, Skyline's got to disrupt the momentum of Westfield. That's what they've got to do. They got to deepen counts. They got to get base runners. That'll work right there.
So a good at-bat from Steven Pedroza. Draws a 1-out walk, bringing Peyton Papadakis to the plate. Papadakis also walked and scored back in the first inning. And until Pedroza reached right there, Papadakis had been the last Skyline base runner. So the top 2 hitters in the Skyline lineup have given Bryce Bagby a little bit of trouble. See if he can get Papadakis here. Ground ball to short. Diving stop made. Gets up to his feet. Strong throw. Wow. Papadakis is retired. Incredible play there by Kason Taylor. Bang, bang play at first base, and Papadakis is out.
That is one of those really close plays at first base. Obviously, if you're a Westfield fan, he was absolutely out. If you're a Skyline fan, he was absolutely safe. And it's just one of those things in baseball that, in the major league level, they have reviews. You know what I mean? They can go back and decide. That was a great play by the shortstop on Westfield. Great hustle by Skyline. Just went Westfield's way.
And here's Cole Muse, the third baseman. Muse has an RBI at a sac fly that scored Pedroza. Swings at the first pitch, pops it into right field, and the catch is made. Can of corn. So after 2.5 innings of play, we head to the bottom half of the third. Westfield 2, Skyline 2. You're watching high school baseball on KSLSports.com. TU Ballpark, the Westfield Longhorns and the Skyline Eagles knotted up at 2 after 2.5 innings of play. And while we all love spending time supporting our high school teams, Wadhoops Insurance Agency is the team that will support and help protect you. Whether it's your business, home, rental properties, cars, or recreational vehicles, Wadhoops Insurance Agency is the local insurance pro that you can count on. Call or text us at 801-683-3663 to evaluate your insurance program today. Taking a look at the 6A bracket, we had a real nice game in Game 1. The Sky Ridge Falcons, the 7-seed knockoff 2-seed Mountain Ridge, 11-9 in a squeaker. Game 2, Lone Peak falls to number 11, Corner Canyon. So the lower seed wins the first 2 games of the day in 6A. The third game just ended with the top-seeded defending champion American Fork Cavemen toppling Jordan 11-3. So Lehigh and Riverton due up next, probably in about 30 minutes from now.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this Corner Canyon seed at 11. That Corner Canyon team's a good team. Good team that it's going to probably punch a big hole in the 6A playoff.
Wyatt Penrod gets hit by the first pitch of the inning from Andrew Johnson. Yeah, we had a chance to see Corner Canyon play out at the ballpark at America First Field, and that is a good Corner Canyon team. They struggle a little bit with the pitching staff, and there's questions about depth on that team, but offensively, I don't think there are any questions with the Corner Canyon Chargers. So Penrod hit by a pitch. He heads down to first base. Brings Grady Garrett to the plate. Check on the runner. Johnson delivers ball 1. And this is where Westfield can start to hurt you. Second, third time through the lineup. Players have seen Andrew Johnson, what he has, everything that he's got to offer. And, you wonder if Westfield's going to start teeing off. But Johnson's looked good in this one. He really has. He hasn't been deterred in spite of the fact that Westfield has such a strong lineup. He's just pounding the zone and staying within his own game, I believe.
Yeah, the only time he's really got in trouble is when he's fallen behind in counts. And so, we're 3-0 to our hitter right now. It's difficult against teams that can hit, or any team really, to fall behind consistently and not have to then just give pitches for them to hit.
Misses outside, so a hit by pitch and a base on balls to open the third inning here. Westfield in business with runners at first and second, nobody down. Sam Smith, the power hitting designated hitter, coming to the plate, hitting .456. We're going to have a speed up runner coming in for Westfield, running for Grady Garrett, I believe. It's number 5, Colt Abbott, coming in to run. That speed up runner, when a guy gets hit by a pitch, you can have a speed up runner. Your first baseman can have a speed up runner. Your catcher, and I think your pitcher can as well.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not, as the rule might make you think, not necessarily to get more speed on the base paths. It's to speed the game up.
Yep.
So those players defensively can get back into the dugout and get ready for the next half inning. Sam Smith looks at strike 1. Good job by Andrew Johnson to get ahead of Smith. He takes strike 1 on the outside edge. Skyline with 2 runs on 1 hit, no errors. Westfield with 2 runs on 3 hits and no errors. And we can have our quibbles about whether there are errors or not in this ball game. I I think there is one error at least. Smith waves over the top. That's strike 2. Well, that's what you need if you're Johnson. Stay ahead. Work from a position of strength. Ground ball, you could get a double play right here. Popped, foul territory, first base side. And gets over, actually stays in the dugout, comes down against the netting.
Yeah, you can see the difference when you get ahead in the count. Both those last 2 swings were very defensive, very much just trying to put something in play, foul it off, spoil a pitch. You know, the hitters can't load up. They can't sit on something to then really, turn on it and drive it. You got to keep them these defensive swings.
Johnson steps off the rubber for a moment. Back on now, gets the sign. Heart of the order due up as Johnson steps off once again. After Smith, it's Brady Penland and Marshall Moon. Getting fouled out of play. We stay 1-2.
Every pitch that is thrown that's fouled off is just moving this at bat into the favor of the hitter. And we got some calling communication problems in the Skyline. Head coach coming out to talk about it.
Yeah, the Skyline team just making sure everybody's on the same page. Westfield's such a potent offense. Just one pitch where not everybody's together, where, perhaps the catcher gets crossed up or just you end up throwing the wrong pitch, executing poorly, and it can completely change the complexion of this game. And I think the Skyline coaching staff is fully aware of that, and they're doing their best not to let this game get away from Andrew Johnson. Counts 1-2, nobody down here. Bottom of the 3rd inning, tied 2-2.
Yeah, and depending on how they're calling signals and what's being communicated, runner at second, things typically will change if you're worried about somebody picking signals and those type of things. So that may be it. They're just not quite on the same page.
Pitch misses high, 2-2. Johnson looks like he's putting a lot of thought in the base runner at second base, represented by Wyatt Penrod. And the pitch misses outside, 3-2. We'll have a payoff pitch. The Westfield Longhorns wearing the all-white pinstripes. Texas Longhorns burnt orange. That pitch misses outside, so ball 4 loads the bases. A hit by pitch and back-to-back walks. And Westfield is threatening here in the 3rd.
Yeah, Johnson he got too fine with it. He was trying to nitpick a little bit. You got to make him earn it. You've given now 3 bases to Westfield. Bases loaded, nobody out. At this point, it is damage control for Skyline. You need a pop-up in the infield or a strikeout, something that won't cause any problems in regards to runs.
Misses high. Brady Penland hitting .417, the cleanup hitter. Driven in 21 this season. Fouls it onto the concourse area. Westfield fell behind 2-0 as Skyline came out. Bats firing. They scored 2 runs in the top of the 1st. Westfield answered with 2 in the bottom half of the 2nd inning. Longhorns looking for their first lead today. Brady Penland takes strike 1. Strike 2, counts 1-2. Johnson comes set. The righty fires. Foul ball remains 1-2.
And each one of these pitches doesn't count as one pitch. It's counting as more than one pitch. You got bases loaded, nobody out. These are high-stress pitches. These count a lot. These are higher arm fatigues that pay off later on in games.
Penland flies to right. Catch is made shy of the warning track. Runner's tag. Wyatt Penrod scores. Speed up runner advances to third, so the Longhorns have runners at the corners. They lead 3-2. Sack fly for Brady Penland brings Marshall Moon to the plate.
Good job by Penland there, just to get a ball into the air deep enough to score a run. Yeah, as a hitter, you want to look at here and hit a double, right, and clear the bases. That would be awesome, but realistically, you've got to get one. You'll definitely trade an out for a run right here. Now, if you're Westfield, you really want to punch this next one in with a base hit.
Well, what you're talking about there, it's productive outs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you put the ball in play on the right side and you move runners over. You get that sack fly. And so even though you're making an out, you're helping your team improve. You're increasing your opportunity to win this ball game. And that's what it comes down to. It's so many of those little things that stack up, execution versus not being able to execute. And at the end of the day, when you look at those little things, it's almost always what decides the game ultimately.
Yeah, especially in state tournament time.
Mm-hmm.
Runs become a premium in state tournament time. We got a balk.
And we got a balk. So Andrew Johnson obviously flustered on the mound. He balks home a run. Westfield leads 4-2. Grady Garrett, or the speed-up runner, scores.
Yeah, almost looked like the hitter was calling time. That threw Johnson off, and he just kind of had a double clutch moment on the mound, which is almost always a balk.
Popped up high on the left side. The catch made by the shortstop, Pedroza. That's 2 down now in the inning. And Tyke Johnson comes to the plate with a runner in scoring position at second base. That's Sam Smith down there at second base. He's got 4 stolen bags this year. Again, Westfield not afraid to put runners in motion. We've already seen teams trying to steal third base a couple of times today. Can be a little bit more risky.
I was going to say, although it hasn't been very successful today. They've been thrown out more often than not.
Ball 2 low.
There are times teams will load the bases and maybe give up 1 run, and you're the team on defense, and you come in and you actually feel like you won that inning because you didn't give up a big inning. This is one of those times where, yes, Westfield scored 2 runs here. We're not out of the inning yet. And you got to think of the way it started, bases loaded, nobody out. I was expecting that we are going to see a 4 or 5 on that scoreboard. Right now we only see a 2. Now we're not out of the inning yet, but it's also the feeling of it. Does Skyline feel like they got out of this inning, like they battled out of it? It's kind of like in football. Instead of giving up a touchdown, you gave up a field goal, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you still gave up points. It's not what you want to do. But, yeah, you only gave up a few rather than a lot. And sometimes that'll actually motivate a team.
Yeah, just that ability to bear down, knuckle down, limit the damage can really be a big boost.
If they get a strikeout here, it'll definitely boost them.
Full count for Tyke Johnson. Fouls it out of play.
Runner in motion on that play.
Johnson singled and scored in his only at-bat today. Got an RBI chance here on the full count, 2-out pitch. Again, fouled off.
Yeah, something that's hard to recognize a little bit in regards to pitching is you get these counts where you get them 1-2, 2-2, and they just keep fouling them off. As a pitcher, that wears on you because you're just thinking, I'm making pitch after pitch, and I just am not getting them out. And it can definitely wear you down as a pitcher. And so as a hitter, you want to just keep fighting these things off and then win that battle. And it's one of those things as a pitcher you just hate to see. You just can't quite punch a guy out.
As Smith takes off to third. Good throw. He's safe. Looked like the throw beat him, but the tag was late. Smith gets his foot into the bag before the tag is applied. And we were talking about Sam Smith's ability to steal a base. That's 5 bags for him this year. As Westfield takes the chance. Risky trying to steal third, especially with 2 down, but it pays off here.
Now you got runners on the corners with that last pitch being a walk or a ball 4. Another chance for Westfield.
So it's a hit by pitch and 3 walks now issued by Andrew Johnson here in the inning. And just like you were saying, if you can give up 4 free base runners like that and only allow 2 runs, you've got to think of it as a win. Fouled out to the berm behind the third base bag.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is in Skyline's terms, we don't feel like this is a win at all, is I don't know what the pitch count is for Johnson right now in this inning, but pitch counts that climb into the 20s and 30s in an inning, they are worth 1.5 times a pitch, and those are extremely fatiguing innings for any pitcher to throw.
So what is it about having base runners on that causes pitches to have, it just takes so much more of a toll on a pitcher?
Yeah, so one, I mean, you'll see it more now than you ever have before as a pitcher's pitching out of the stretch normally. That's because they want to be as efficient as possible out of the stretch. But the thing is when you have a runner on base, it's one more thing to think about. It's one more thing that you've got to consider.
Roped into left. That'll be a base hit. Kason Taylor with an RBI single as Westfield punches across the 3rd run here in the inning. They lead 5-2.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where now you're trying to make pitches to get specific outs. Yeah, you want to strike out. Yeah, but maybe you want to ground ball. So now you're throwing a little bit different sequencing than you normally would. If you don't have a runner on base and you're pitching out of the windup, that allows for better coordination, better movement, better rhythm, all of which increase efficiency of a pitch. All of those things help you locate better. All of those things help you just use your body better to therefore not have to exert so much effort into each pitch. When you have to be thrown out of your rhythm by pitching out of the stretch, when you're having to worry about a runner at second base, maybe quick pitch into home, all of those things only decrease the amount of efficiency you have during each pitch.
The runner takes off on a pitch in the dirt. Both runners will advance. So it's those fractional differences, just those little things where you've got 2% of your mind on that base runner. You're just thinking of something else. You're thinking of executing a pitch differently, and those fractional differences add up to make it that much more taxing on an arm.
Yep. Yeah, Johnson's laboring here. And you can see it. He's out of the windup now, 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. He's having to take a little bit more time in between each pitch.
Quick note, we've got a speed-up runner came into the game for Tyke Johnson at second base. Now at third, it's number 25, Kai Brown, running for Tyke Johnson, the first baseman. Andrew Hurst at the plate takes strike 1 on a 3-0 count. Hurst reached on an E4 earlier in the game. Not the official scoring of an E4, but that's what we have in our book. As Hurst draws the walk. So that'll load the bases again. Johnson is scuffling here in the 3rd inning.
And no one is warming up in the bullpen for Skyline.
It feels awfully lonely out there right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can. It's one of those things as a pitcher. You just know. You just know, like, okay, the coaches are asking me to go so many innings, throw so many pitches, get a job done, and sometimes that helps a pitcher to feel more confident. Like, they're not going to come out and pull me if I show, I'm walking guys or giving up a bunch of hits. But a lot of times it'll just make you feel the pressure. And in tournament situations like this, especially when you had a lead, now you're tied, now you're down by 3 runs, you've got 2 outs, bases loaded. Now you've essentially given up 3-4 runners based on balls and hit by pitches. Like, you feel like as a pitcher, this is all on you now. This is a heavy burden on you. You've putting this burden on your team. It's a tough place to be. And
well, in a lot of ways, I feel like, not to be too harsh on Andrew Johnson, but this is a situation that he's put himself in with bases on balls, with hit by pitches. It's not like Westfield has been able to do a lot of damage. He's walked 4 guys. He's given up 1 base hit in the frame. Yep. And that's what he's just trying to be so careful that he's not able to execute right now, and he's burning himself.
Yeah, and I'd probably give a little bit more credit in regards to Westfield and what's going on, and that is he's been in counts where he's been 0-2, 1-2, 2-2, and had 2 or 3 foul balls, right? And they're just working accounts. He just doesn't have the put out stuff to get these guys out when they've got 2 strikes on him. It's just not something that's gonna. He's unable to get outs on a 2-strike count, and that's gonna wear you down.
Mm-hmm. And the runner's moving, another base on ball. So 5 walks in the inning. Westfield bats around here in the 3rd. That'll score a run.
Yeah, they must have somebody ready to go. We're seeing another pitching or another mound visit here.
So the mound visit, let's see what happens. Andrew Johnson scuffling right now. The point to the right fielder, Wyatt Crowell. So Wyatt Crowell will get the call. He's going to come in and pitch 2 down here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Westfield Longhorns lead Skyline 6-2. You're watching high school baseball on KSLSports.com. Pitching change here for the Skyline Eagles. Taking over for Andrew Johnson is going to be the starting right fielder. It's Wyatt Crowell. Crowell, the right-hander, comes in. He's making his 3rd appearance on the mound this season. He's only thrown 2 innings. So you take a look at the numbers, and in a sport like baseball with such a small sample size, it's just not even worth looking at the numbers, besides the fact that relatively inexperienced comes in as a right-hander facing this Westfield lineup. The Longhorns have already batted around here in the 3rd inning. And the important thing to note for Crowell is an inexperienced pitcher. He's coming into this one with the bases loaded and 2 down. So it's a massive moment for this Skyline team.
It definitely is a massive moment, but it's one of those things that sometimes, inexperienced, you may not understand the weight and the gravity of the situation.
Too dumb to know better,
yeah,
right?
I mean, it's one of those things. You're looking at Skyline, and you've got to decide, who are we going to put in the situation? We're going to take a better arm and put him in now. We're going to save that better arm for later. So you bring a guy in who hasn't pitched a whole lot this year and see what he can do. And sometimes, we need 1 out. That's what we need right now for Skyline to get out of this inning. And maybe he can come in and pull it off.
Well, one advantage that you have if you're Westfield is the throw goes down to 3rd. It's in time. So that's Peyton Papadakis behind the plate, making a play for his pitcher. Gets the Eagles out of the inning. Westfield scores 4, but it could have been a lot more if not for that throw from Papadakis. We head to the 4th. Westfield leads Skyline 6-2 on KSLSports.com. Back here at UCCU Ballpark, the Westfield Longhorns lead the Skyline Eagles 6-2 as we head to the top of the 4th inning. And are you ready to unlock your full athletic potential? At Athletic Potential, we specialize in helping baseball and softball athletes conquer pain, recover faster, and achieve peak performance. Whether you're a professional, collegiate, competitive, or recreational athlete, our tailored approach ensures you are stronger, faster, and more resilient. From personalized physical therapy to sport-specific performance training, we guide you every step of the way. Plus, with remote coaching options, expert support is always within reach. Don't let injuries hold you back. Visit athletic-potential.com to schedule your consultation today and take the first step towards your best performance yet. An interesting moment we've got right here. The starting pitcher, Andrew Johnson, after really struggling in that 3rd inning and getting pulled, ends up coming to the plate to lead off this inning. And you'd love to see Johnson be able to get some momentum back for his team by putting a ball in play. Maybe start this one off with an extra base hit.
Yeah, there's definitely times in my career when I'd go out and lay an egg on the mound and get pulled, but still be able to come in and hit. It's just a chance to kind of change your brain and then put a swing on it like that.
And that's exactly what he does. He blasts the ball into the gap, rolls all the way to the wall, bounces off the Nike sign out there. He's going to pull up safely with a stand-up leadoff double. And Andrew Johnson, that's mental toughness right there. No matter how much you were struggling on the mound, he immediately resets and performs.
Yeah, that's a great job there. That's a great swing, too. He just kind of sitting back, saw the pitch all the way, found the barrel. Props to that kid to be able to come back after an inning like that on the mound feeling all of that weight and all of that pressure, and then to come through and take care of business right there.
So we'll have a speed-up runner come in and run for Johnson. That's going to be number 42. Wes Thornton coming in to run for Skyline. 42 wearing the Jackie Robinson number. You can see the 42 out above the right field wall. 42, of course, retired across all of professional baseball and in a lot of college parks. Nobody will wear that number ever again after Jackie Robinson. If memory serves, I believe Mariano Rivera, revered Yankees closer, was the last player in Major League history to wear 42. Unless it's Jackie Robinson Day.
Then everybody wears it. Yep, yeah, Mariano Rivera, last guy.
So counts 0-1 for Abe Wilson. Wilson struck out in his only at-bat today. He's hitting .352 this season. He's got an RBI chance. You know, we've talked about it on one side, you know, from the Westfield side, they score 4 runs. They'd like to come out and have a shutdown inning to preserve that momentum. If you look at it the other way, your Skyline, you gave up 4 runs. You're struggling as a team. You want to pick up your pitcher who just came in and doubled. And another ball hit toward the gap. This one's going to hang up in the air. The catch is made. But Thornton tags from second base. He'll advance to third. So Skyline with 1 down here in the inning, they've got a runner at third base.
Another good swing on a ball there. Well driven. Just got a little bit underneath, maybe just a hair off of the end of the bat. Just not quite enough to get it to the gap past the outfielder. But if you're Skyline here, you're just trying to get at least 1 run. You know what I mean? Put a number on the board. You know, again, they just got 4. Westfield just got 4 runs. If you can put 1, preferably 2 runs on the board here at Skyline, you're going to feel a lot better about your chances in this game.
Left-handed hitting Hayes Marshall into the box. Marshall takes strike 1. He grounded out to second base, his only at-bat today. That came way back in the second inning. The first 3 games, Mike, they were cooking. We were moving at a really good pace, and I think the final game of the day is helping us catch up.
Yep. Yeah, this pace is a little bit slower. Lots of base runners. You know, and anytime you have multiple walks and those type of things in an inning, those at-bats are longer. Yep, the pace of this game is much slower than we've seen all day.
Bagby delivers the 2-1, gets the chase. Now 2-2 on Hayes Marshall.
I do have to say, though, the pace of those games earlier today were fast. That wasn't like they were just fast, normal pace, and this one's slow. Those games were cooking. We had great pitching. We had guys just getting out. You know, Pleasant Grove and Spanish Fork pitching was just really good today. Very good pitching outings from both of those pitchers.
Yeah, when you get your pitching staff that can execute and your defense that can pick you up when need be, those games tend to move along a little bit faster. Counts now 3-2 on Marshall. 1 down here in the inning. Top of the 4th. Skyline trying to battle back. Marshall draws the walk, so a good at-bat by Hayes Marshall.
I think you're seeing why Skyline is in tournament play right now. This is a team that just is gritty. I mean, you give up 4 runs, and the pitcher who gives up 4 runs comes out and leads it off with a double. You get 2 good hits. You know, essentially the pitcher hits it, gets a double, and then the next guy hits a ball really well, tags up to third. Now you just had a gritty at bat right there. You got a runner at first. You got 1 out. This is why Skyline's here. This is the team that doesn't give up. They fight and they'll claw and they'll just they just never go away. And it's fun to watch teams be able to do this.
Yeah, when you have a team that you know is going to continue to battle to the last pitch, to the very last out, they can make for some really exciting baseball. This, of course, a double elimination tournament. The winner in this game will move on to face the top-seeded Spanish Fork Dons. That game will be the final game of the night tomorrow, 7 o'clock first pitch. The loser will move into the loser's bracket. They'll play the Payson Lions, with first pitch coming at 1:30 or around there tomorrow. It'll be the second game of the day. Game 1 tomorrow will feature the Fremont Silverwolves against the West Jordan Jaguars. Ball popped out into the bullpen along the third baseline. Looking back on the 3 games today, Maple Mountain started the day off with a 10-1 or an 11-1 win over Fremont. A run rule victory. Ended early in the 7th inning against the 7-seed Fremont Silverwolves. Game 2, Pleasant Grove came out, and Ryder Huntsman just dominated, struck out 15. Pleasant Grove scored 3 in the first 2 innings of play, and that's all they would need as a chopper to short. Muffed by Kaysen Taylor. Everybody's going to be safe. Skyline scores. So Skyline cuts the lead to 3. The Eagles have runners on first and second now with still 1 down.
Well, so first objective accomplished for Skyline. Get 1 run across the board in this half of the inning. Still got 1 out. Able to work maybe into getting another run here.
So now runners at first and second, and that's what they say. Just put the ball in play, and maybe the defense will make a mistake.
Well, you got to put pressure on defenses. That's the point, right? You got to make good teams make good plays. And if you don't put the ball in play and don't put the pressure on them, then you'll never know. And what you see in a lot of baseball, you see it in softball as well, is at some point you've got to make teams make plays.
Yeah.
And if they do, that it's going to be tough to win that game. And if they don't, then you're going to always be in every game.
Bagby catches the outside corner, evens the count 1-1 against Mason Papadakis. 1 down here in the top of the 4th inning. Skyline threatening with 2 on. Popped high on the infield towards third. Infield fly, so the batter is out.
And if you're Westfield, that's exactly what you want. You want a strikeout or an infield fly. Because now it's just no damage done. They didn't unproductive. We were talking about productive outs, right? That was an unproductive out. But Skyline's still not out of this inning here, and you just can't count them out. Like I said, grind out another good at bat here and see what they can accomplish.
9-hole hitter Carson Atkinson to face Bagby. Misses high, ball 1. Atkinson 0 for 1. Popped out to the second baseman in his only at-bat. He's hitting .316 this season. Skyline with 3 runs on 2 hits with no errors. Westfield with 6 runs on 4 hits and 1 error.
Well, and I think what we're seeing is the same product of what happened to Johnson in the last inning, as he's falling behind in counts here. And he's having to pitch with a 2-0, 2-1. And you've just got to throw it over the heart of the plate and just see what they can do with it. So far, Skyline's taken advantage.
Finds the zone there for strike 1. Counts 2-1.
So now the hitter's seeing something fast, something off speed that breaks. Now he's seen everything. So as a pitcher now you've got to hit your spot if you don't want to serve it up to him. And that's the reason why getting ahead in counts is so important. That being said, followed up with a great fastball in the outer half.
Yeah, catches the outside corner. Good look from Bagby. Now 2-2 is the count. 2 down in the inning. Skyline threatening runners at first and second. Longhorns lead 6-3. And strike 3 swinging. Bryce Bagby responds. He gets Carson Atkinson on the strikeout. We head to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Westfield leads Skyline 6-3. You're watching high school baseball on KSLSports.com. Leading off here, bottom of the 4th inning, Wyatt Penrod. Penrod was at the plate in the bottom of the 3rd when they throw down to second base Retire, or throw down to third, retired the side. It's a great play by Peyton Papadakis behind the plate. The runner strayed a little too far from the bag. And they got Kaysen Taylor, and was after Westfield had already scored 4 runs in the inning. So Wyatt Penrod will start his at-bat over. He takes 2 balls from Wyatt Crowell. There's a 2-0 strike.
Yeah, if you're Westfield here, you've got a fairly inexperienced pitcher on the mound. You really want to go out and attack here. Oh, boy.
Hard hit, deep. Goodbye. Jai ho! Wyatt Penrod leads off the bottom of the 4th inning with an absolute, no doubt, moonshot. Bounces off the Mountain Dew sign about 20 feet beyond the left field fence. Wyatt Penrod, tell him who you are.
Well, right before that happened, I said, if you're Westfield, you got to come out with just kind of a killer instinct against a pitcher like this. And that's exactly what he just did. He was looking for a pitch over the middle of the plate, and he got all of it.
That's now 8 home runs this year for Wyatt Penrod. And that was no doubt. Left fielder Zayden Butcher took a few steps toward that one and then pulled up and just let it go. You've got no chance there. Here's Grady Garrett, left-handed hitting catcher. Garrett takes a ball off the outside edge.
Yeah, there are times as an outfielder that you see a ball hit and your first step isn't even back. It's just to go flat-footed and just watch it soar over your head. I definitely would count that one as one of those.
Yeah. Now a 2-1 count for Garrett, hitting .456 this season, walked and scored in the 3rd.
Hey, if you're Kroll here, you've got to understand that you got to still keep attacking. It's hard. I know you just gave up an absolute blast, but you've got to keep attacking these hitters. Falling behind is going to only leave you more vulnerable.
He misses outside, so he walks Garrett on 5 pitches. And after Skyline pitching issued 5 walks in the previous inning, that's the 6th walk here in the ball game. Not what you're looking for. We'll have a speed-up runner. Sam Smith at the plate, the designated hitter.
If you're Sam Smith here, this first pitch is probably going to be the best pitch you're going to have to hit. Ooh.
Little lollipop curveball right through the zone, strike 1.
It's actually quite a great call.
The speed-up runner for Westfield, number 5, Colt Abbott down there at first base. Running for Grady Garrett, the catcher. Shoots it through a hole past the second baseman. So the first 2 runners reach for Westfield here in the 4th. First 3 batters reach. I apologize. I forgot about that home run already. Runners at first and second.
Oh, I got a pitch and change.
So that's going to be the end of the day for Wyatt Crowell. Have another pitching change. We'll go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll give you the name and numbers for the new Skyline pitcher here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Westfield Longhorns lead 7-3. You're watching high school baseball on KSLSports.com. Now pitching for the Skyline Eagles, it's Hayes Marshall. Marshall started at first base. Now he's coming in to pitch. The 3rd pitcher of the day for the Eagles. Marshall making his 7th appearance of the year. He's 2-0 with an 11.81 ERA and 5 1/3 innings. So not a lot of distance from Hayes Marshall. Definitely a guy coming out of the bullpen. He's given up 13 runs. 9 have been earned. He's struck out 5 and he's walked 14 this season. So Marshall, it looks like, can struggle, have bouts of lack of command at time. Comes into this game with runners on first and second and nobody down here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Westfield threatening. is facing Brady Penland. Marshall fires ball 1 well outside. Penland singled and scored in the second inning. He hit a sac fly in the third. Pitch misses outside, 2-0. Those first 2 pitches from Marshall not competitive. He's got to find a way to get towards the strike zone and challenge these hitters. The lights on here at UCCU Ballpark.
So 3 straight misses, 2 very much outside, third pitch up. He's just not comfortable with a hitter standing in the box right now.
Again misses high, so a 4-pitch walk issued by Marshall as he enters this game. Not how he wanted to start.
You can see a trend in a pitcher who's just either just doesn't want to come inside. He's worried about maybe not hitting a guy. Those type of things, you'll see him stay away and you'll see him stay up because it feels comfortable because that's where the most space is in regards to where he's looking. So now what we'll see is a left-handed batter, and we'll see him bring his eyes back to the outer third of the plate. You saw it right there. He's able to paint it on the outside
Exactly
corner.
What you were talking about.
So what happens is you've got to, it's almost an advantage if you all of a sudden have a pitcher that has to now face somebody who's been where he's been pitching the whole time.
Ground ball to the second baseman. The throw comes home. The force out at home. So the base is still loaded. Abbott's retired at home. 1 down now in the inning. Marshall Moon goes to first on the fielder's choice. Penland advances to second. Sam Smith now at third base.
I don't want to be predictive of here, and I hope I'm wrong on this, but I bet you this first pitch is going to be about 2 to 3 inches outside. And I was wrong. I'm happy I'm wrong.
Comes right in on the corner. Tyke Johnson goes the other way, sorry.
No, and as a pitching coach or as a coach who's calling pitches, you just recognize that. And that pitch right there, it might even just be, hey, I want you to throw this thing right down the heart of the plate, just so you get a feel for where he can get to that inside corner, get to the outside corner. So you just don't want him to go back to that initial feel of throwing a ball out and away.
And that's exactly where he goes, to the outside corner. It's going to be a base hit, bobbled in right field. So that bobble is going to allow runner to reach third. 2 score on the play. Westfield adds a couple. They lead 9-3 with runners at the corners and 1 down.
And that pitch actually wasn't a bad pitch at all. Upper half of the strike zone, but still on the outside corner, just a better piece of hitting, just to reach out, use a barrel to just kind of pop it into right field and score 2 runs.
We see exactly why this Westfield lineup has been so effective this year. They've got the 1 solo home run from Wyatt Penrod, but otherwise it's just chip, 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 and they keep chipping away. It never quits. Here's Kason Taylor. Taylor is 1-for-2. Singleton was stranded at third in his last plate appearance. Squares around, pulls the bat back, takes ball 2. Taylor began the day hitting .500 this season. And there is no relief at the bottom half of this Westfield lineup. Might be a little bit less power down here, but these guys have bat-to-ball skills. They know how to get on base. Counts now 3-0 on Taylor.
A lot of times you'll see a Westfield team, if you look at who they've been playing, a lot of people would say, oh, we'll see when they're facing different competition, if they're able to score all these runs. Well, I can tell you right now, just the approach at the plate from these Westfield hitters, just the confidence they have, just the way that they're attacking balls right now. I can tell you right now, this team knows how to hit. This is going to be a team that's going to put up runs against any team in the 5A bracket they're going to play.
Yeah, this team knows how to hit. They're patient. They've got a really good eye of the strike zone, and if they're willing to sit back and accept 8 walks, They're going to be a very difficult team to beat. I don't know what that interaction was between the umpire and the Skyline head coach as he comes out, has a quick word with his pitcher, I think to exchange gloves with a couple of players. But I don't know what that conversation was. It looks like Andrew Johnson back on the bump now for Skyline. So the starting pitcher re-enters. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back and tell you a little bit more about Andrew Johnson. You're watching high school baseball on KSLSports.com. Good vibrations here at UCCU Ballpark, at least if you're the Westfield Longhorns. Re-entering on the mound is going to be the starting pitcher, number 99, Andrew Johnson. He comes in a pickle. The bases are loaded. Marshall Moon at third, Tyke Johnson at second, Kaysen Taylor at first, facing Andrew Hurst. Hurst takes strike one, and the last time we saw Andrew Johnson in the mound, it was in the third inning when Westfield batted around. And he gave way to Wyatt Crowell. Now back on the bump, and this is a really tough ask if you're Johnson. After he already threw a bunch of pitches in this game, he's gone into a defensive position, and that arm cools down, and now he's back on the mound. This is a lot to ask of the young pitcher.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you don't see very often, and mainly just because it's really hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to do from a mental standpoint. It's really hard to do from a physical standpoint. But I get it. We're in a state tournament time, and sometimes you got to make hard decisions. And we're hoping Johnson's able to get out of this here real quick.
Comebacker to the mound. He'll throw home and get the force out. Could be a double play. The throw hits the base runner.
He's out. Running in
the base runner is called out. Good catch there, Mike. The base runner in the baseline on the infield side of the first baseline. It hits him in the shoulder. I think that's a good call by the first base umpire. Seemed pretty clear to me.
Yeah, you look where that throw was heading. You look where your first baseman was standing. He's clearly on the field side of that line, and there's only one way you get hit as a runner on that side, and that's if you're running on that side. And umpires were all over it, and double play completed.
So we'll take a break. Westfield leads 9-3 after 4 innings. You're watching high school baseball on KSLSports.com. Tab Spend Rewards checking account with 2.75% annual percentage yield on your account balance and 1% cash back on every eligible purchase. Tab responsibly. Visit tabbank.com to learn more. Member FDIC. And Mike, we just saw Andrew Johnson get himself out of a tough spot with a comebacker. He throws home to get the lead runner, and then the throw down to first base hits the base runner, who is ruled out for being in the baseline. But Andrew Johnson does a great job, re-enters as a pitcher after playing defensively for more than an inning, and comes in and gets the double play to get out of a bases-loaded one-out jam.
Yeah, Johnson, you can tell Skyline leans on him a lot to bring some energy.
Steven Pedroza leading off, puts a charge into one. That's over the right fielder's head. One bounce to the wall. Pedroza with a stand-up leadoff double.
And here's Skyline just making some noise again, even after giving up a few more runs.
No quit in this Eagles team. Still Bryce Bagby on the mound. Peyton Papadakis now hitting. Takes ball one in the dirt. Peyton Papadakis tripled and scored back in the first inning. Looked like Skyline might have a chance to really pull away from Westfield. They scored 2 early runs. Haven't been able to keep the same momentum, but they've got a chance right now with the runner in scoring position. Papadakis at the plate. The heart of the order due up. Cole Muse followed by Andrew Johnson and Abe Wilson. Counts 1-1 on Papadakis. He's hitting .318 this year. Pitch misses way outside. Now 2-1.
Yeah, and if you're Westfield here, I think coaching staff, he's already seen. You can see him talking to his team out in the field right now. There's no pressure in the sense he's just saying, "Hey, look, we just need outs. We just need outs." And you've got a 6-run lead. You need to play like it. Play with some confidence. Play with that lead. Understand that's a strength.
So the pitch gets away. The runner advances. So that's going to be a wild pitch on Bagby. Pedroza advances to third, now just 90 feet away.
Yeah, and even that. So you give up this run. Yeah, it allows Skyline to hang around just a little bit longer, right? But the idea is when you have a lead like this, you play with this lead, understand you can give up a few things, and that is a significant advantage.
Strike 3 swinging. Papadakis is retired. Not a lot of strikeout stuff from Bryce Bagby today. That's just 4 punch-outs for him. Here's Cole Muse. But Bagby, I mean, we've been spoiled with strikeouts today the last couple of games. Bagby still pitching very well, very effectively. He's given up 3 runs, but only allowed 2 base hits.
Yeah, another one of these quiet performances on the mound where as a pitcher, you're just out there and you're making pitches when you need it. Yeah, you're giving up some hits. Yeah, things don't go quite as smoothly as you would like, but you're still out there. You're getting outs, giving your team a chance. And when you got an offense that's going to put up 9 runs in 4 innings, you've got a little bit of breathing room as a pitcher, and it's pretty obvious that he's been used to that all year long.
Fouled out of play. Counts 1-2 on Muse. Cole had a sacrifice fly back in the first inning. That sac fly allowed Peyton Papadakis to score after his RBI triple. And then he flew out to right field in his last at-bat in the third. Goes the other way, punches it into foul territory. Count remains 1-2. Even with this 6-run deficit, the way Skyline's offense has been able to play, been able to get dirty, as you've talked about so far today, you don't feel like this game is out of reach right now.
No, and that's the beauty of a team like Skyline, right? I mean, even when you're down 6 runs, it's one of those things where as Westfield, I know these coaches are smart. They know exactly what's going on. They know this is a team that if you give them too much room, they're going to take advantage of it. And Skyline knows it too. They just need some wind in their sails to kind of help them down the line and get them to where they need to go.
So there's a liner to short, caught by Kaysen Taylor, positioned perfectly. Now 2 outs in the inning.
See, but plays like that, balls hit in play, making the routine plays, making the difficult plays is what takes out teams like Skyline that just never quite go away.
Yep.
You're going to have to make – you just know at Westfield at some point – someone's going to have to step up and make a play that's just going to have to – that'll put a team like Skyline down.
Here's Andrew Johnson. Takes strike 1.
And the same thing can happen from a pitcher just, getting a good punch out at the right time. And that's just the type of baseball we're going to see all week. From every one of these teams, we've been able to see every bit of 5A, the teams that are left, and every single team in 5A has a lot of fight in them. They've got a lot of talent.
Looped out to right field. That drops. So that's going to score a run.
Oh, baby.
Andrew Johnson digging for second. The throw, he's out. So a great throw from the left fielder. That's Andrew Hurst, able to track it down. But Andrew Johnson with an RBI single before getting thrown out. Skyline puts another run on the scoreboard. They trail 9-4 as we head to the bottom half of the 5th. You're watching high school baseball on KSLSports.com. Back here at UCCU Ballpark, bottom half of the 5th inning, the Westfield Longhorns lead the Skyline Eagles 9-4. And while we all love spending time supporting our high school teams, Wadoops Insurance Agency is the team that will support and help protect you. Whether it's your business, home, rental properties, cars, or recreational vehicles, Wadoops Insurance Agency is the local insurance pro you can count on. Call or text us as 801-683-3663. That's 801-683-3663 to evaluate your insurance program today. Leading off here, the bottom half of the fifth inning for the Longhorns. It's the bottom of the lineup, Luke Penland. Penland, the left fielder. Safe to assume playing alongside his brother Brady Penland in center field. I suppose they could be cousins.
Maybe.
Weak ground ball to first. It's going to be a really tough play. Nobody gets over there. That should have been the pitcher Johnson covering. He doesn't get there. And instead, that's going to go down as a base hit for Penland.
That's one of those plays as a pitcher, either just, fatigue, all of those things. You've been out there, you're trying to do so much. That's a tough thing. And that right there is why you do PFPs as much as you do. So it just becomes instinct. He was just 2 steps behind that play. Honestly, I thought his second baseman was going to get that ball, which is the reason why I didn't think he started running until after. The way that ball was hit, yeah, I definitely thought his second baseman was going to get. He thought that second baseman was going to come get his ball.
I mean, that's a couple of plays today that we've seen where the first baseman, it can be really difficult as a first baseman. You have to take a lot of reps to understand a ball towards second base. Where should I play it? Where should I let it go? Understand where we're lining up defensively. But yeah, you're right. That's probably a ball that Johnson turns. He sees, all right, my second baseman's got that. I don't need to cover the bag. But instead, it goes the other way. Johnson delivers strike 1 to Wyatt Penrod, the leadoff hitter for Westfield. Penrod with a no-doubt solo home run to lead off the fourth. It's the only long ball we've seen all evening, morning, afternoon, evening. We've been here all day. We did 3 days here in the 5A, in the 6A tournament last year, and we didn't see a single home run. Maybe the ball just doesn't carry for us, Mike.
Yeah.
Is it personal?
It might be. Although that ball definitely carried out the Mountain Dew sign.
True.
That ball had more than enough carry.
Counts 1-2 for Wyatt Penrod.
I think it's just the caliber of pitching we've been seeing today.
Curveball doesn't catch the zone. Counts now 2-2. Yeah, there's no doubt the pitching that we've seen today has been next level. Be hard-pressed to see anything better as that throw to first gets away. Rolls a long way. Penland's going to be able to run. He advances to third and gets the stop sign. And again, there's so much foul territory down that first baseline. If your right fielder is off of the line defensively, there's nobody over there but your first baseman to track it down, and he's going to have to run. I mean, you're looking over to the bullpen, that's 30 yards?
Yeah, that's a
more?
lot of foul ground. It's one of those things where you'll see a lot of coaching staffs and a lot of different teams that will come in and look for those things, and they'll kind of look at how much there is. So a pickoff play to first base has additional consequences if you can't make the correct throw, right? So there are fields that there's almost no space between first base and the fence, and you may get away with a bad throw because it's just too short to be able to advance in a run.
Liner past the shortstop, the drawn-in infield. That's going to allow Penland to score. Wyatt Penrod with an RBI, and he moving. Sees the outfield not going after that ball fast enough, and he takes advantage with a head-first slide into second base.
Yeah, again, right there, this is Westfield staying disciplined, understanding that they have a certain level of what they're going to play in regards to this game. And rounding first, you could see just a little bit of pull up from the outfield instead of being more aggressive to the ball. Westfield taking advantage and taking second base from him.
Westfield not taking anything for granted in this game as that pitch is popped into shallow center coming in, making the catch. That's Mason Papadakis, the first out in the inning here. Sam Smith that's Grady Garrett retired. Sam Smith coming to the plate. Sam Smith hitting .456. He's reached his last 2 times, walked and scored in the 3rd, singled and scored in the 4th.
And Sam has been swinging the bat in a way that has just been basically saying that he's going to get a hold of one sooner or later here.
Yeah, he's seeing the ball incredibly well right now. So that one misses low and away. Andrew Johnson still on the mound. There's the 1-0. Pulls the string. Smith not able to catch up.
Yeah, and you can see Smith's approach there. He's thinking dead red fastball, and he was going to hit it a mile. Johnson just beat him with an off-speed pitch.
Did you enjoy that aspect while you were playing as a pitcher and the mind games that you have with every batter?
Absolutely. It's one of those things where sometimes you can just size up a hitter and know that they're thinking dead red, and you drop a curveball, and they almost look silly, you know, and you're just like, yeah, I read that. And then you can see the hitter, you know, just have that same reaction of just like, yeah, okay, you got me, but now what are you going to throw, you know? And it just becomes a really fun game to play, being able to read hitters and understand what the next pitch should be.
Here comes the 2-2. And it hits Sam Smith. So Smith will head down to first base. Runners at first and second now for the Longhorns and Brady Penland. And again, you see Skyline hurting themselves. 8 walks. I believe that's the 2nd or 3rd hit by a pitch in this game. That's the 2nd hit by pitch. They've committed an error. It's just so tough, no matter who you're playing, to win a game where you make so many mistakes. But when you're in the state tournament, you're playing one of the best teams in the state, you're just burying yourself before you even give yourself a chance. And Skyline offensively has played well today.
Yes. Yeah, this is one of those games where you just feel like Westfield's been in control. But they've given Skyline chances to just be in the game, but not only be in the game, but to maybe even take control of part of the game. And then what just happens is they kind of just lose that opportunity. Although we've talked about it before, Skyline's a team that just doesn't go away. But this is what it takes to beat a team like Skyline, is to be relentless, at the plate and just have good AB after good AB and follow it up with a hit, and then you put another run on the board. I mean, if you just look at the scoreboard, you've got runs every inning except for the first. It's going to be really hard to lose if you're going to put runs up every single inning like this.
The pitch misses high, ball 4, so that'll load the bases. Brady Penland draws the walk. That's now 9 walks issued by Eagles pitchers this afternoon. Marshall Moon will bat.
And it looks like we'll have a pitching change.
So that's going to be the end of the afternoon for the 2nd time for Andrew Johnson. Johnson, you can tell frustrated, flips the ball to his manager. And I can understand why he'd be frustrated after struggling today on the mound, not being able to give his team the opportunity to, at least at this point, to win this game and stay in the winner's bracket. But, with Andrew Johnson, this is a guy who has got to keep his head in this, because Skyline's going to be right back here tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And they've got to play A-plus ball to stay alive in this double elimination tournament.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think they're going to have to just get through the rest of this game and keep fighting in this game and just have good ABs and make sure they have good approach, and then come back tomorrow. And if they end up on the losing side of this, to come back and fight another day.
So now on the mound for Skyline, it's going to be number 8. That's Carson Atkinson. Atkinson, the most experienced Skyline pitcher this year. He's making his 17th appearance. He's 1-0 with a 2.17 ERA. In 19 1/3 innings, Atkinson has allowed 22 runs. Only 6 have been earned. He's struck out 14, working around 7 walks. And he's given up just 1 home run this season. He comes into this one a tough spot. The base is loaded for Westfield. One down here in the bottom of the half of the 5th inning. And the 5-hole hitter, Marshall Moon, will hit. And you can see with Carson Atkinson coming into this game, if anybody's wondering, is there a point where Skyline maybe turns the page and just let's focus on tomorrow? It's not going to be right now. You don't bring Atkinson into a game unless you think you have an opportunity to come back.
Yeah, exactly. You can see how the game plan, the mindset of the coaching staff right now is, they're looking at this like, no, we want to stay in this game. And I can understand that. I can understand just, having the mentality that we're just never say die.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the complete opposite argument of that where you've got to understand that never say die might mean you have to pitch tomorrow.
Pop shallow left field. Going back on it is the shortstop, and he makes the play. The runner tags from third. He'll score. But a good defensive play out there. That's Steven Pedroza. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to get to it, but he makes the catch for the second out in the inning. So that'll go down as a sac fly for Marshall Moon. Scoring from third is Wyatt Penrod. The other two runners stay put, so runners at first and second now for Tyke Johnson. Johnson rips a ball down the left field line. It's going to roll to the wall. 1 run will score. Gets the green light, the throw, 2 runs will score. As Westfield opens it up. They tack on a couple of more. It's 13-4, Longhorns cruising in this one.
Yeah, and you could just tell that, Skyline was just holding back the floodgates just as long as they could. And that's the kind of hit you need to just basically keep putting the pressure on Skyline to see if you can't get them just to back down a little bit. Now you're basically another base hit away from this game being over.
And you think about how big that would be, to run rule teams early in this tournament. You save yourself pitches, and it just goes exponentially bigger as the week moves along.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Westfield here they're not comfortable. You can tell that they definitely want to get this done. And so they're putting the pressure on. They want to get this run in and go home.
So taking ball 1 is Kason Taylor, the Westfield shortstop. Taylor singled and was stranded at third back in the 3rd inning. He walked in the 4th, so he's reached twice today in 2 official at-bats. Counts 1-1 after he fouls it into the screen. So if Taylor can turn a ball around, it should allow Tyke Johnson to score. Pops it out of play. So the 5A bracket, relatively chalk. The 9-seed Payson Lions advance to bracket play. And then, of course, the number 21 Skyline Eagles busting into this thing. But everything today so far has gone as prescribed. The 1, 2, and 3 seeds have won already. Westfield, the 4 seed, well on their way to victory, which just sets the stage for some incredible action tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Atkinson checks the runner. Here's the 2-2. Lifted to left field toward the line. That's trouble. That'll drop. Johnson's going to score. It's going to be a walk-off base hit. The Westfield Longhorns, they score 4 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, and tack on 5 more in the 5th to earn the walk-off 14-4 win over the Skyline Eagles. As day 1 here in the 5A baseball tournament goes chalk, 1 through 4 seeds win. Mike, what'd you see?
Well, I think we talked about it in the beginning, right? Westfield has got a team that will absolutely hit the ball And Skyline did a fantastic job jumping all over them in the first inning, getting a couple runs, holding them back. But then if you just look at the scoreboard, no runs in the first, 2 in the second, 4 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 5 in the fifth. They just couldn't hold back the offensive tide that Westfield has.
And then looking at the other side, Bryce Bagby on the mound. Bagby goes the distance. He goes 5 innings in the complete game, gives up 4 hits, only 2 earned runs. So Westfield does an incredible job. They battle back after giving up the early lead to Skyline. Skyline comes in looking to maintain the momentum on this Cinderella run as a number 21 seed, and they're going to have to do it from the losers bracket tomorrow. Skyline will face the 9-seed Payson Lions tomorrow at 1:30. That's going to be game 2 here at UCCU Ballpark. And the Westfield Longhorns move on to face the Spanish Fork Dons. So let me tell you about our slate tomorrow, Mike. We've got an incredible action coming on. The Fremont Silverwolves will face the West Jordan Jaguars at 11 a.m. Then we're going to see the Payson Lions come back, and they'll face this Skyline Eagles team. And Skyline, we can see clearly they are no pushover. And then after those 2 games at 4:30, we come back for game 3. The number 2 Maple Mountain Golden Eagles facing the Pleasant Grove Vikings. Pleasant Grove won Region 7. Despite Maple Mountain being the second-seeded team over them. And the final game of the day is going to be Spanish Fork against Westfield. We are in for it. I can't wait.
Yeah, this is the stuff. When you look at these brackets, you get excited for matchups. And I think we're seeing all these matchups that people were thinking we would see based on the seeds. And so we're going to see which teams can bring it tomorrow and bring their A games, and who ends up on top stays in the winner's bracket.
Well, it's been a fantastic action. Day 1, games moving along at a great pace. We'll be right back here tomorrow morning, UCCU Ballpark on the campus of Utah Valley University. We want to give a thanks to Utah Valley and their excellent groundskeeping crew and staff here at the ballpark, allowing everybody to come out and enjoy some spectacular baseball all day. Thank you to the UHSAA crew for putting on this incredible event every year and, frankly, making it easy for us to show up and talk about baseball. That's all we got to do. And then a shout-out over to our photographer, cameraman, Mr. Vince Francis, carrying the show for us. It's been a wonderful day. That wraps us up on day 1. Day 2, we'll be right back at it. 4 more with first pitch at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. You've been watching high school baseball on KSLSports.com.